So, inspirational leaders. I want you to know that inside of us as leaders or as followers, and by the way, you cannot be a good leader if you're not a good follower. So don't think that, oh, I can't follow anyone because I'm a leader. No, if you cannot follow, you cannot lead. So that being said, all of us, when we have some certain hormones in our brain that, that we get when we feel important, when we feel valued, and as followers, that's what actually leaders are doing to push the people, followers, to do whatever they want to do. Why? Because there is something that we call in leadership the golden circle. There are 3 circles inside of each other. So there is the what and the how. Everybody does the what and the how. Everybody knows what are they doing, what are they leading, what do they believe in, and how to do it. How to do it is part of your branding, is part of your USP, unique selling proposition, is part of what you stand for. But the inspirational leader actually know the why. And they speak to you inside out. Instead of telling you what and how they're doing, first they bring you in on why they are doing this so they can get your buy-in with you. They explain their vision. Let me tell you something, we can never do anything without we actually visualize it. If we don't have a vision in our head, we will never be able to achieve our goals. That's why visualization is a big part of goal setting. You know, once you have as a leader a vision and you can explain why you're doing what you're doing, people will follow you like that. And I'm going to give you examples. When Martin Luther King in the summer of 1963, there was no Facebook, no Twitter, no internet. But when he stood and talked to people, what did he say? He said, I believe. And he said, I dream. He put the people into his vision. So when he said, I believe, his followers believed what he believed, and it became their own belief. So 250,000 people marched to Washington, not because of Martin Luther King, but because they believed in what he believed, and it became their vision. He said, I believe. When Gandhi wanted everybody to follow him, what did he say? He said, be the change you want to see in people. He didn't say you want to plan or you want to achieve. He said, see. Vision is the biggest part of leadership. You a leader?
Yes.
I love that. I love it because that music kind of like makes my heart pump up, you know? So anyhow, now that we know what leadership, the basics of leadership is, let's talk about diversity. So when we say diversity, what comes to your mind? This, the first round, this group walk. Okay? So let's see. What's diversity? Cultures, backgrounds. What else?
Beauty.
Beauty.
Differences.
Differences. What else? Weaknesses. Yeah.
No, uniqueness.
Uniqueness. I agree.
Idiosyncrasies.
Idiosyncrasies. Yes. Beliefs.
Economic statuses.
Absolutely. What else?
Ideas.
Ideas. Diversity of thoughts that people always ignore. Absolutely. Yes. Experiences.
Backgrounds and upbringings.
Absolutely. What else? How can a word means all that? Actually, diversity, people look always at differences. How am I different from you? Oh, you have blonde hair. Yes, I have blonde hair, but it's dyed. You know? You know, so we think about differences rather than think about similarities. Actually, diversity is both differences and similarities. Diversity is the uniqueness of every single human being. So whoever said uniqueness was right on the money. It's everything that makes us unique as people. So it could be economical status, East Coast, West Coast, jobs, white collar, blue collar, parental status, veteran status, military status, socioeconomic, even the abilities and disabilities. And if we want to remember the words that for diversity, let's remember the word regards. And regards stands for race, ethnicity, gender, age, religion, disability, and sexual orientation. And of course, the diversity of thoughts. And I want you to know that diversity is about dignity, about honor, and about human relationships, more than anything else. Diversity is more than a definition. Diversity is what we live every day. It's about honoring someone. It's about having dignity to someone. What diversity is not is, we're going to discuss it in a second. And I want you to know that people will do things based on what they know best. They're not going to do things to annoy you. And when people are different, that doesn't mean they're weird, or they're wrong, or we're right. They're just different. And we need to start dealing with people that way. People will do the best they can. But people can change and can learn. Now, we have a lot of immigrants that come to this country, and there are two kinds. There are kinds that try to integrate, because at the United States here, we do have a culture as well that people need to respect as well. Because if I want to be respected in my culture, I have to respect other cultures. So that being said, people will learn and will do things that will only make sense to them. That all behaviors that we do are goal-oriented. So for example, when I was in high school or beginning college and I wanted to go out with my friends and I wanted the car, I would ask my dad for the car. So on a Friday I said, Dad, clean my room, did my homework, everything, can I have the car? He will give me the car, so because he was nice to me, my goal was achieved. My behavior was, I washed the car and I filled the gas tank before returning the car. But if on Sunday and they wanted to go somewhere else and I said and they told me no, I would have a bad behavior the whole week. So our behaviors are goal-oriented. Are we getting our goals achieved or not? And I want you to know that people that have a bad attitude are not necessarily bad, but you can either adjust their goals, or you can talk to them, or you can try to see where they are in their life, and maybe try to help them in a nice way. Differences are real or perceived. We look at differences and we think, oh, this is real, we really have a difference. And sometimes it's just perceived. So in these two pictures, what do you see?
He's hot, huh?
What do you see as differences or similarities between them?
Attitude. One's smiling, one's not.
Okay. Okay.
Different races.
Different races. What else? Different colors.
Different hair.
Different hair.
Attitudes.
Attitude.
Nothing.
Oh, yeah,
Outfit.
clothes. Different line of work.
Different line of work.
Earrings.
Go to different
Earrings.
places.
Different places. Guess what?
How long do you have fashion?
They're both Cubans.
Huh.
They both artists.
Oh.
They share the same language, the same food, the same culture, the same country, and the same industry. But the first thing that we did inside of us, we looked at the differences rather than looking at similarities. And as human beings, we tend always to do that. We look at differences right away. It's like our brain is programmed in looking at the differences rather than the similarity. Okay, if you look at these people, what do you see as similar or different? Okay, one,
One has a cell phone and one doesn't.
okay. No, I mean as human beings.
Oh, okay.
One didn't shave as much as the other.
Okay, what else?
Um,
Now you guys are very cautious, okay?
Actually, they look
One.
a lot similar.
Someone's happy, someone's smiling, someone's not.
Yes,
Their phenotype is more similar than the other example,
and they're totally different.
but they're probably totally different.
They are. Because the one on the top is Indian from a Sikh religion, and their turban, you know, is one of the characters of their religion. And actually, till now, people believe that the Sikh people are Muslims, and they're not. They're a Hindu from a Sikh religion, yes.
They have 32 or 56 different colors.
The Sikhs.
I'm not sure, but I know they have 5 characters to be Hindu. The turban, the bracelet, the little knife, the comb, and the beard. And their hair is long, always
Yes,
long
very
and
long.
So this I know the 5 characters of the Sikh religion, but I'm not sure about the colors. And he is from the Gulf area. But people look at both of them and the first thing that they say, oh, they're Muslims. When they should have made actually similarities between those, but they saw the differences rather than similarities. So differences are real or perceived. Remember that. So do not start judging people by the way they look. And we're going to go through that in a second. So what diversity is not? Diversity is not political correctness. And we all are walking on eggshells. I have no idea why. We call people like all of a sudden, the janitor becomes a custodial engineer. And the bartender is a mixologist. You know, it's very easy. You can just ask people, how do you want to be called? I want to be called, myself, an American from an Egyptian descent. My husband wants to be called, he doesn't want to be called Hispanic, he doesn't want to be called Latino, he wants to be called American from Mexican descent. So it depends how we want to be called. Simple. Ask. Ask in a very respectful and simple way. And it's not numbers. So it's not affirmative action. And when you go to work, it's not EEO, it's not employment opportunity. And it's not black and white. It's not about race only. And it's not blame or guilt. And it's not about you merit this or you don't merit this. Like, if you do exactly what I do, you'll be good. Who said that I'm the best there is? Why should I judge people based on myself? And you see that, especially that you are the young generation, which we call Gen Y, you have a lot of people always say, when I was your age, this is what I was doing. You know, who am I to tell you that? The circumstances I lived in was different. The time was different. Everything was different. So I cannot really judge you. So diversity is not about meritocracy. And it's not about tolerance. And you will hear a lot of people that do diversity talk about tolerance. What comes to your mind when you hear the word tolerance?
Bias.
Settling.
Settling, yes.
It's just tolerating someone not actually accepting them.
Thank you. Thank
Not
you.
living.
I tolerate my brother-in-law because I know he's going to leave to his home the end of the night. So, but I don't accept him. There is a difference. So in diversity, we need to accept people for who they are. We don't have to love them. We don't have to even like them, especially if we are in a college or at work. But we need to accept that they are employees like us or students like us, and we have to respect who they are, what they are, and they have to reciprocate the same respect. Okay?